intelligent ideas to share. I don't want to call anybody out because I do know that these are personal. However, if we have some volunteers who would like to share some of their responses, if you could just tell me what question you chose to answer and what your experience with that question was. Yeah, go for it.
For question number 1, like in like my house, like doing the dishes, the laundry is something like more like a thing a girl would do.
Okay.
So I think like if like my brothers, they could do it too. So but like it's something like, oh, a girl has to do it. It's something that's not like equal or fair. That's what I think.
Absolutely, I think that that's really common. That sort of plays to your response, right? Would you mind sharing that?
Well, in my family, actually, the man and woman aren't treated equally. It's not a bad thing, but my dad is expected to work and my mom is expected to stay at home and will take care of us.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not a bad thing, but it's just unequal, like what you're expected to do.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And I think that those are two examples of like how this plays out in our society expectations. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Can I answer the question to number 1?
Mm-hmm.
But yes, everyone is equal in my family because both of my parents work. But because we all eat equally, we don't tell anyone that they can't eat.
Oh, okay, all right. So I hear like this playing out with like chores or responsibilities or work and even like daily habits like food and whatnot, right? I like that, absolutely. And so that this is like a little different, and I think this is a great representation of like how different families, even within the same society, the same community, operate differently, and that probably is true in the Middle East as well. Can I get maybe 2 more volunteers to share out a response they had to one of the questions? It can be whichever question you want. Yes, ma'am.
To number 3.
Uh-huh.
I put that this makes me wonder that when the male partner in the job, when he slacks off and the woman doesn't mean that the man gets more money even though he's not doing anything, and that the woman still gets less. And I think it's still up there to the woman.
I think that is really true, and like this is like a fact, right? Like again, one of those like things that we don't want it to be true. There's a lot of factors that influence it, but it is a fact. And so like, so how does that play out in real life? Yeah, like those are questions that I have too. I told her that her question made me think too. I love it when students' questions make me think too. Maybe one more person to share their response. Yeah, absolutely.
For number 3, like I think it's unfair because like, so it's supposed to be equal work, equal pay. Like just because we're girls or women, that doesn't mean that we do less of a job than men do, and for them to be paid more, it's really unfair.
I think that that's true. Yeah. Now, I know I said that there was just going to be one more volunteer. However, I just realized that we've heard from all the ladies in the room today. And boys, I want to make sure that you are involved in this conversation as well. So can I have a male volunteer? Go for it, sir.
Well, like for number 3 with the money thing, like I have 3 younger sisters.
Uh-huh.
And like I love my sisters, even though they get on my nerves.
That's fair.
But it makes me feel sad that eventually, when they get their job and they get married and have their kids, they're not gonna be like treated like how like those guys are treated, and it makes me like kind of wonder what's gonna happen. What are they gonna go through when they grow up and like well, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder that too, and also like a generation, right? You said that your sisters are younger, right? So like a lot younger. How old are your sisters?
The one's closer to my age is 9.
Okay.
The other one's 4, and the other one's a newborn.
Oh wow! Well, first of all, congratulations on your new sister. That's very exciting. And like, so we have time to change this, right? So if we don't like what we're hearing today, like we have time to change this so that potentially, like, since your sisters are younger, it won't always be like this. Absolutely. And I think that you brought up like a really great point too that I do just want to call out really quickly. We are talking about women's rights because they are civil rights, and this is how it sort of represents itself in the Middle East. However, just like the men in this room are not like against women, the men in the Middle East are not necessarily against women. It's just like this societal stuff, this cultural stuff, this economic stuff, these education factors, these political laws. It's all these things that create this reality. So I just want to call that out there because the guys in the room, I know that none of us have personal vendettas, and I just want to call that out there. All right, did that make sense, that last part? Yeah, All the guys in the room are feeling the love? Okay. All right. So we are going to look more in depth at this. Actually, not from my perspective, not from like a PowerPoint up there. But we're actually going to hear from females in the Middle East who experience these types of civil rights violations themselves. That way, you guys can judge your own opinions, you can form your own thoughts, and you're not just hearing it from me, you're not just hearing it from Mr. Hernandez, you're hearing it from the people who live it every day. So we're going to do some literacy groups. And you guys have done literacy groups before, right?
Yeah.
Nod, yes, maybe so. So at each of your tables are 4 articles. So one for each of you, so you can go ahead and grab those if you want to look at them really quickly to see what kind of articles you're going to be reading. And you're going to spend about 10 minutes at each table. Now we won't make it to the whole rotation, but that's okay. You'll still get to read from a variety of sources. And so you're going to stay at your table that you're currently at. You are going to read the piece of literature or the text that is at your table. And you're going to pull out from that text the following 4 things. The first thing is one word from the article that stands out to you. Like just a single word that really, really made an impact on you. The second thing is one phrase that you think is really important to the text. So that can be a sentence, a couple sentence, a fragment of a sentence, but something that's very important to the text. And then one sentence that caused an emotional reaction in you. Maybe you noticed actually I'm feeling angry after I read this. Or I'm feeling sad. Or I'm feeling like this is unfair. You're going to pull out that sentence as well. And finally, an overall summary. So how many things total are you pulling out from each station? 4 things, perfect. And you can go ahead and write all of these in your notebook under the article title, which should be on each of the articles. Now again, you're going to spend 10 minutes at each station, and then you'll rotate to the next station when I tell you to. So how many minutes at each station? 10. And then I'll tell you when to move to the next one, so you get a variety of perspectives. Is there any questions about what we're going to do? I want to make sure everybody's clear on this. Nope? Awesome. All right, I see people going ahead and get started. I'm excited that you're excited. Let's start.